She was the most loyal woman in the entire monarchy. William's godmother, Queen Elizabeth's most trusted confidant, a woman who spent over 6 decades quietly holding the royal family together. And at one of Camilla's own palace events, she was humiliated. What happened next sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace, ignited a war between two royal households, and set off a chain of events that royal insiders say could see Camilla caught bullying William's godmother, and the royal council agreeing to erase her from the crown forever. Lady Susan Catherine Hussey, Baroness Hussey of North Bradley, was born on May 1, 1939. She served as a woman of the bedchamber to Queen Elizabeth II, and is currently a lady of the household under King Charles III. According to BBC News, Hussey has been described as a key and trusted figure in the British royal household for decades. She joined the royal household in 1960, starting with royal correspondence, and eventually assumed one of the most influential positions within the institution. Her responsibilities included helping new arrivals adjust to life in the royal household, individuals such as Diana, Princess of Wales, and later Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. When Diana entered a world that would ultimately consume her, Lady Susan Hussey was there. When Meghan, an outsider, came in seeking to find her footing, Hussey was the one assigned to guide her. She served as the Crown's institutional memory. Hussey is also the godmother of Charles and Diana's firstborn son, William, Prince of Wales. And she was chosen to accompany Queen Elizabeth at Prince Philip's funeral. This detail is particularly profound. When the Queen buried her husband of 73 years, one of the most intimate and painful moments in her life, she chose to have Susan Hussey beside her, rather than a politician or a foreign dignitary. A close friend of Queen Elizabeth II and Queen Margrethe II of Denmark, Hussey spent time at Balmoral Castle and was one of the highest decorated members of the royal household. She was promoted to Dame Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order in the 2013 birthday honors and had already served with the CVO since 1971. This is a woman whose relationship with the Crown has spanned more than 6 decades. William grew up seeing her at his grandmother's side and called her his godmother. In many ways, she became as integral to the fabric of the monarchy as the throne itself. Therefore, when events unfolded at Buckingham Palace in November 2022, events that occurred under Camilla's watch, it wasn't just an isolated incident. It marked the beginning of a reckoning. In her role as a lady of the household, Lady Susan Hussey attended a reception hosted by Queen Camilla on November 29, 2022, as part of the Preventing Sexual Violence in Conflict initiative. One of the guests was Ngozi Fulani, the founder of Sister Space, a London-based domestic violence charity that provides specialist services to women of African and Caribbean heritage. This was Camilla's event, her cause, guest list, and space. Lady Susan Hussey was there in a supporting role, continuing her service to the Crown at a public engagement. However, what happened next quickly became a global sensation. Ngozi Fulani published a transcript of their conversation on Twitter, claiming that Lady Hussey had repeatedly asked where she was really from. When Fulani responded that she was from the United Kingdom, Hussey allegedly pressed further saying, "Oh, I can see I am going to have a challenge getting you to say where you're from." Fulani described the exchange as insulting and stated that she had suffered trauma and damage after being invited and then insulted at the event. The story took off overnight. Buckingham Palace confirmed that Lady Hussey had stepped down from her role amid allegations of offensive comments. A palace spokesperson stated that the palace takes this incident extremely seriously and had investigated immediately to establish the full details, adding that unacceptable and deeply regrettable comments had been made. The resignation was seen as a humiliation and cast a shadow over the trip by Lady Hussey's godson, Prince William, who was in the US that same day with the Princess of Wales for a 3-day tour. This situation became far more complex than initially reported. It was Camilla's event with her newly appointed Queen's companions, a role she redefined after eliminating the traditional title of Lady-in-Waiting that Lady Hussey had held under Queen Elizabeth. Critics soon began to ask an uncomfortable question. If this was Camilla's reception, staffed by her personnel and featuring her guest list, what responsibility did she bear for the incident involving a woman who was not only a royal aide, but also William's own godmother? Prince William's response was clear, pointed, and unmistakable. A spokesperson for William, Prince of Wales, issued a statement declaring that racism has no place in our society. Those words carried significant weight, especially within the walls of the palace. William was not speaking in general terms. He was the godson of the woman at the center of the controversy. He had witnessed Lady Susan Hussey serve his grandmother faithfully throughout his life. With his statement, William made his position known in the most straightforward manner possible, publicly, deliberately, and with royal authority backing him. According to royal author Omid Scobie, William's reaction created substantial tension between him and his father. Their father-son relationship, already strained by years of competing agendas between Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, now faced a new and painful fissure, one centered on Lady Susan Hussey, Camilla's event, and William's public declaration. Scobie noted that the father-son relationship was beginning to bristle with tension and one-upmanship, and that William's solo maneuvering around the Hussey controversy added fuel to the fire, with Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace becoming hives of competing agendas and differing visions on how to modernize. This critical context is often overlooked in royal coverage. When William spoke out publicly in defense of anti-racist values, widely interpreted as a rebuke to what transpired at Camilla's event, he was doing more than issuing a press statement. He was asserting his independent authority and planting a flag. The palace carefully noted every word. Meanwhile, Camilla, the host of the event that night and the figure whose reception had become the epicenter of one of the biggest royal controversies in years, remained notably silent. She issued no personal public statement. The palace press office managed communications instead. Fulani, who attended the palace reception addressing violence against women, one of Camilla's primary charitable interests, expressed that she had mixed feelings about her visit and that after her conversation, the rest of the event was a blur. Here is the chapter that many people overlooked, yet it may be the most revealing for understanding the real balance of power within the Windsor household. Lady Hussey reportedly resumed her official royal duties by February 2023, representing Princess and at a memorial service for Dame Frances Campbell Preston. Just 3 months after the controversy that forced her to step aside, she returned quietly, firmly, and with royal approval. On December 16, Hussey and Fulani met at Buckingham Palace to discuss the incident. Hussey offered her sincere apologies for the comments that were made and the distress they caused. Following the meeting, a joint statement was released indicating that the gathering was filled with warmth and understanding, and that Fulani had accepted the apology and appreciated that no malice was intended. This reconciliation was significant, but the political implications were even more profound. Lady Hussey was reinstated and welcomed back into royal duties, sending a clear message. The institution had not abandoned her. Her reinstatement, even in a reduced role, illustrated where her loyalty lay and how the broader royal family viewed her, regardless of the events that transpired at Camilla's palace reception. There is a particular irony in the family structure that deserves mention. Lady Hussey's daughter, Catherine, followed in her mother's footsteps by serving as one of Queen Camilla's official companions. The daughter of a woman embroiled in controversy at Camilla's event now serves directly alongside her. The British monarchy exemplifies institutional complexity, and nowhere is this complexity more evident than in this intricate relationship. Let's take a step back the Hussey incident and examine the broader context surrounding the British monarchy. A pressing question looms over the palace, one that royal experts have been exploring but palace officials dare not voice. What will happen to Camilla when William ascends the throne? Royal author Christopher Anderson has pointed out that William merely tolerates his stepmother, who has always seemed a little afraid of him. Their relationship has been described as tense. William has not fully forgiven Camilla for her role in the breakdown of his parents' marriage, a situation detailed by several royal biographers. As a child, he witnessed the destructive nature of Camilla's relationship with his father, and such memories are hard to erase. Reports suggest that Camilla wants King Charles to maintain his reign for as long as possible. She loves her responsibilities, has aspired to be queen her entire life, and is reluctant to relinquish her position. The calculation is straightforward. Every day Charles remains king is another day Camilla retains her title as queen. Every day that William does not take the throne allows her to hold on to what she has spent her adult life working to achieve. Royal expert Joe Little told USA Today that once Prince William becomes king, he will be the monarchy's primary decision-maker, calling all the shots in accordance with his father's and stepmother's wishes, of course, but that every aspect of Camilla's public and private life would be reviewed. When William becomes king, Camilla will lose her title of Queen Consort and will instead be referred to as Queen Dowager, the title given to the king's widow. She would no longer have the active, powerful status of Queen Camilla that she enjoys today. Instead, she would hold an honorary designation, one associated with the memories of a reign, rather than the power of a current one. Royal biographer Tom Bower told the Mirror that Harry is genuinely concerned that when his father passes away, William might banish him, leaving him without any status in Britain. If William is willing to consider such a fate for his own brother, one can only wonder what he might do with a stepmother he has always merely tolerated, especially considering that her actions played a role in his beloved godmother's humiliation. This thought likely keeps Camilla's inner circle awake at night. Let us be precise, because precision matters in a story of this significance. The notion that a royal council has formally resolved to erase Camilla from the crown conveys a sense of drama. However, the reality behind this idea is documented, real, and arguably as consequential as an official decree. After Queen Elizabeth's death, Camilla abolished the traditional role of lady-in-waiting, which had long existed. Instead, she chose to have lady companions, a redefined role that effectively dismantled an institution to which figures like Lady Susan Hussey had dedicated their lives. Some royal historians note that this is one of the most significant changes to palace structure in modern memory. Critics view it as Camilla asserting her authority, erasing the old guard to create space for her own appointments. However, here is the thing about attempting to erase the old guard. It does not simply disappear. It consolidates around William. Lady Susan Hussey, William's godmother and Elizabeth's most trusted aide, embodies the loyalty that will be immensely important when the next power transition occurs. With over 60 years of institutional knowledge, she has helped newcomers adjust to royal life, figures like Diana and Meghan. She knows the inner workings, protocols, and private dynamics that no title or press release can teach. William's defense of his godmother, his refusal to remain silent, and his public rebuke of the circumstances surrounding her humiliation were not impulsive decisions. They were statements of allegiance. In the monarchy, allegiance serves as the currency of power. Royal experts confirm that once William becomes king, every aspect of Camilla's public and private life will be scrutinized. Her schedule, companions, engagements, and platform. Her title will change from queen to queen dowager, a designation that carries historical significance but lacks authority. Given William's documented feelings about his stepmother, his sense of tolerance, the existing tension, and the memories of what she represented in his childhood, the reviews of her role are unlikely to be favorable. Thus, when we refer to the Royal Council's decision to erase Camilla from the crown, we are actually discussing a slow, structural, and inevitable diminishment, not a singular dramatic act. It represents a quiet and methodical withdrawal of the power she has accumulated over decades. While her title will remain on paper, her authority will not. The Hussey incident was the catalyst. William's public statement was the spark, and the timeline leading to William's reign serves as the fuse. The British monarchy tends to operate subtly rather than loudly. It repositions and rewrites its narrative. When Prince William eventually ascends to the throne, the transformation of Camilla's role won't be heralded with a press conference. It will simply occur quietly, firmly, and completely. That is how the crown erases someone, not through a declaration, but by slowly and deliberately closing a door.